How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be going over Lucid and as well as for SoFi. We saw some selling pressure inside of the markets. These stocks were impacted, and we're going to go over them to see what they look like going into tomorrow. Let's start off with Lucid. So we ended up closing at $15.98, being down 0.75%. On the low, it tested $15.95, and then on the high, testing $16.44. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 11.502 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 14.822 million shares. So we had below average volume on the day, and we've seen a pullback in the stock. When we take a look at our chart, which is our daily chart, you can clearly see that Lucid is looking very bearish. It is trading below all of our major moving averages, which is the 50 EMA to 21 EMA, and as well as the 9 EMA. And you can see the continuation of lower lows and as well as lower highs, which has been going down for 5 trading days. We also do see that we broke through the $16 area of support. So knowing that we broke through this level, the next area you want to watch and where Lucid could potentially come down to is at $15.30. I mentioned this in the previous video as well. But before we even get there, we could have some buyers that may try to hold some support right here around $15.61, so keep that level on watch. If the market does continue to sell off dramatically and we break through this $15.30 level, that's where we can start getting really close to that 52-week low, but you guys already know about that. If you're a bull and you want to see it turning around, you want to see some strength, we ended up seeing a high at 1644. So we want to be able to revisit this high and then make that move going to 1678, which is near the highs where we had on the previous day. Breaking above this level can send Lucid back into that $17 range. And for now, $17 is a psychological area for this play. If it could reclaim it and have some movements and get near that 9 EMA at 1740, things look interesting. But from what I'm seeing, it doesn't look that way, and it looks like the selling pressure could continue. So let's see if it decides to have a bounce off of 1560 or 1530. Let's take a look at the short interest. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings we have here for the 23rd, keep in mind we already went over the ones for the 22nd. We don't have any new or closed positions, but we do have some changes, and we'll go over those very quickly. So we have Franklin Templeton Variable Insurance Products Trust that ended up having a value change of 32%, and we also have Franklin Growth Fund Class A that had a value change of 32% as well, and Cap Trust Financial Advisors with a value change of 60%. So they are reducing their positions, and it's very sizable when we take into consideration Franklin Growth Fund Class A, considering they have 2.6 million shares, just over that. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 68.95%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 3.88 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 400,000, updated 15 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 8.30%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 19th, it is at 78.16, and then for the close of the 22nd, it is at 68.95. So that is a significant decrease right there. And then when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 21.02%, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential. So like I was saying in the chart portion of the video, Lucid is looking weak at the moment, but we want to see if it's going to bounce off of those key levels that I mentioned. So let's see what it does going into tomorrow, and let's move on to SoFi. So let's take a look at the chart for SoFi. So it closed at $6.17, being up 1.15%. On the low, it tested $6.01, and then on the high, testing $6.25. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 54.205 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 50.079 million shares. So we had above average volume on the day, and we saw some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, of course, we have SoFi trading below all of our major moving averages, which is the 9 EMA, the 21 EMA, and as well as the 50 EMA. But where it found support today, right near $6, we also saw that act as support on the previous day. So going into tomorrow, if we're looking for some strength, it did see a high at 625. Keep in mind, it did do a lower high from the previous day. So we want to be able to visit that high from the previous day around 634 and then seeing if it can make that move to 654 and then fill in that gap that we have to the upside around 664. That would be the most bullish case scenario. If it decides to break down, or maybe we have a pullback in the market and it decides to follow, that's where we can go back to revisit that $6 level. And if we break through $6, like I mentioned yesterday, we can come down to trading at $5.76. So you want to add that to your homework. And if that level does decide to end up breaking, then we can start visiting 550 and then in turn getting down to 515. But again, this is only if we have weakness inside of these markets. But overall, just taking a look at the price action, it's great to see that SoFi is doing a great job holding up $6. Let's see if it can continue to do that going into tomorrow. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for SoFi. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings, you can see we don't have any new or closed positions for the 23rd, but we have some changes. So we have CapTrust Financial Advisors that has a value change of 10.32%. So what that tells us, they reduced their position, and you see that they have a share size of 47,760 shares. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 49%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is at 9.06 million shares, just over that. And then when we take a look at the short shares availability, it is at 10 million, updated 17 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 1.11%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we could see for the close of the 19th, it is at 42.12, and then for the close of the 22nd, it is at 49. So that is a significant increase right there. And then when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 16.66%, SoFi does continue to have short squeeze potential. So we've been seeing a lot of volatility inside of these markets, and for SoFi and as well as for Lucid, they have been impacted. It was great to see that SoFi was able to post up a green day, but we do have more of a volatile week ahead since we do have Powell that's going to be speaking on Friday, and we also have to wait on GDP and as well as the PCE numbers. So you guys know what's going to happen, and that's why I want to make sure that you're aware of the levels that these stocks can potentially get to depending on the market direction. Hope you found this video helpful. If you're new to this channel, make sure that you subscribe if you enjoyed it, and if you found a lot of value in it, make sure you hit the like button. I'll be talking to you guys real soon.